Hi
guys.
So today we're going to be discussing our group evaluation, and we just wanted to put it all as a whole because we are going to be doing individual evaluations later on, but we just wanted to get feedback on what we thought on each of his pieces. And we've got a few questions that we need to answer as well.
Okay, so what went well? How did it go well? And give me details.
Okay.
Emma, do you want to go first?
Yep. I think the performance went great, but as I was playing a kid, I felt like I should have wrote more. And when I was scrubbing, I should have done it a bit faster, because a kid can be really messy. Because my piece is about washing the past away and writing about the new events that are going on, the audience kind of walked away, which that was unexpected because I didn't want that to happen, because I was basically meant to be scrubbing it, washing it all out, and then just writing the new events. That was what meant to happen.
Okay,
So why did they walk away, do you know?
They probably thought it ended there when I was just washing it all off. But I just
So
stayed in
what do you
character.
think you could do next time, maybe?
I think I could have just washed away one sentence at least, and then just wrote at least one key information about
Maybe
the
you
future.
could have
I
wrote
think
a bit quicker as well.
Characterisation as well, Amy.
Yeah, I feel like you could have been more childish.
definitely,
Because there were points where it was just very, very silence and just pauses and stuff like that, which, you know, add a little giggle in, like, like, you know, just keep moving about.
Was the idea for you not to speak? Was that,
It's like a silent kind
So
of.
why was that?
It's kind of an idea for about from the start. I felt like it should be just silent, just like little noises, how a kid would just giggle or stuff like that. But yeah.
Or you could have it because when the building closed down, the building would have been in silence. So it was sort of bringing that whole idea of the death of the building and how silent that was as your sort of focal point into that.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
Because our stimulus was death and rebirth, so
Yeah.
you could have used that in your research as well.
Indeed.
So that's your piece done, the start of the performance. Yeah.
Then it moved on to myself and Hayden. I think for myself, I could have had a bit more characterisation to identify who I actually was, but I think I had good enough diction. I made it very clear what I was doing.
So what was your role?
So I was sort of like the opening sort of guide to the whole piece after Amy. Sort of taking them back into time and to how someone would have walked in and to use the changing rooms or the swim baths or the washroom, how much it would have cost for them depending on what class they were in.
Yeah, Ethan, what do you think of your bit? Did it go well?
The balcony bit?
Yeah.
Yep. Overall, I think the only thing that let us down was the lack of rehearsals we had in the actual space itself, so on the balcony. But I feel what we had was better, and plus we kept adding stuff on as well. Sort of, I wouldn't say last minute, but we did stress about adding stuff and taking stuff out. But with that factor, I think timing was quite our setback. It was quite our weakness.
Was there an initial idea before this?
Was there what, sorry?
An initial idea before this one? Was there another performance that you came up with before this?
So before this, we had just the timber.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to create a sort of washroom sort of scene. How they would have used the timber for washing their clothes, washing themselves. Inside of it, we also had the idea of the soaps that they would have used, and they had the scents still on them soaps of what they would have smelled back in when they were doing it.
Hayden, do you have anything to say about the first bit, the idea that you had?
What was
why
it? Why was it scrapped? Maybe.
Yeah. Why did you scrap?
Well, we thought it was really good at the beginning, and it was really good, but then it kind of just took up a bit too much time in just being in the bath for too long. And even though it looked good, people probably would have just got a bit bored just standing there watching us.
I feel like it had no place to go in the building, because on the balcony it wouldn't have really been seen properly,
So
and we couldn't have put it in a corridor.
do you think it was the wrong place to do
Yeah,
it?
I feel like it was a great idea, but nowhere for that idea to go.
Summer, anything as well on that bit for your group?
For the tin bath?
Yeah.
Well, before that we was meant to be in the hallway, weren't we? And it was meant to be in the hallway, but it was too much of a small space, so we moved it to the balcony.
But obviously they can't see it
from the balcony. So I thought it was a good idea, but nowhere to put it, like Jake just said.
Yeah.
So what was next? Was it the
Do you want
Yes,
to talk about
so-
your bit?
two lovelies?
Veen and I, we did a contemporary piece.
Should
Just
we first talk about the whole contemporary piece as a group, like our?
Yeah.
Oh
Talk
yeah.
about the
Okay, so
performance.
we all did a group contemporary piece, which was with everyone from the whole of the Level 3 Extended,
Yeah.
and we all took part in this contemporary dance, which we got taught by our workshop leader Sam. But in this dance, we were in different parts of the contemporary piece, so a few of us were in different groups. But so, how did you think it went in the contemporary piece?
I think it went very well. We were given the original motif for the start of the performance, which was quite interesting actually, with the whole like gripping onto water and really bringing the Sturchley Baths history into that. And then we had to make our own motifs in our little groups, which I think my group did very well in that, because we did have a few hiccups at the start, but eventually we managed to sort of perfect it and get like a better motif for that. And then obviously at the end we manipulated the original motif and created it our own sort of way individually.
Yeah, so I think as a whole group, the contemporary piece did work really well in the end, but for some of it, because in our section of the group,
I think there was a lot of lack of space.
so
let's
we
say.
didn't actually rehearse it in the space given that we were using, so we had to kind of just go with the flow on the day. So I think that kind of stopped us from doing as well as we could have because we didn't use the space.
What about individually in the contemporary dance? Do you think you all performed it
I think
well?
we could have done better with our facial.
I think all of us,
expressions.
yeah.
And you were all in different groups, weren't you, for that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was what was the dynamic in them groups like? Was you like the leaders of them groups? How did you add to the motif?
Well, when we were in our group, me and Veen came up with some ideas for the piece and the motif itself, and to come just from that, we made a choreographed. I don't know. It was kind of like to do with the water, how we wanted it. We wanted to really show us swimming, so we used a lot of leg and arm movements when we were doing that. So, in your group.
Hayden, what about you?
Well, in our group, when we were doing the bits on our own, when we had to make up our own choreography, we just kept going with the idea of what she already had, like just going more into doing the same movements but just in a different way. And then towards the end, we just keep doing the same motif, and then everyone's just going over doing their own bit. So.
Okay, and then what about your...
So moving
your
on,
group?
me and Veen, we actually broke off the whole contemporary dance. We walked around everyone individually and then got into our positions to do our duet.
So this is basically, in our groups, we suggested that we should work as a pair because we thought that, you know, we work better, let's say, you know, as a pair. So we came up with this physical choreographed piece, which was led by myself and T. So we basically did the theme of, was it death?
Deaf, yeah, so we...
Yeah, so first came with death and rebirth, but we just took the rebirth away because we thought that, you know, it wasn't needed.
We felt like it worked better, like it went with our stimulus that we got given at the start. And we wanted to really portray that when performing. We wanted to be the actual death of the building. That's why the movements that we did were involved, and we really wanted the audience to feel kind of uncomfortable in a way, just because it was an uncomfortable time for everyone for the death of Sturchley Baths to be happening. So we really did want to show that effect.
It did work as well, because looking back on the video, we just saw the facial expressions you guys done as well. Yeah. It was good. Like, what was it? The mimicking, was it? When you ran up to the camera, sort of like a mimic.
Yeah.
I really liked your face there, Veen. It was like,
yeah.
Panting.
So to talk about that, when we did run up to the audience, we did this with our hands, but before the piece, we decided to crop that out of the performance. So I didn't do this, and Veen decided to do it. So that's a mistake that we need to work on.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Like it was also
Nobody
a bit
knew
like
as well
yin and
because it's
yang.
the
Yeah.
first time seeing
Okay.
it as well. So it's fine.
Any influences
Yeah, we were
Yes.
influenced massively by Motion House. So
Thank you,
yeah,
guys.
thanks Motion House. So we did a workshop, well I did a workshop with Motion House, and they pretty much taught me what it was like to be really physical with, like get really connect with people, and it really inspired me to just do more physical work. And then we also added some movements that they taught me from there, because we felt like it looked really effective and it worked with our piece essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Oh,
for
we
what
were
went
also
well?
influenced by Stephen Burkhoff.
Yeah.
Stephen Burkhoff.
We used his physical theatre work as well. We
Yeah.
wanted to really involve him because we wanted it to be kind of a physical theatre piece. That's why we did a bit of talking at the end as well. We wanted to involve the audience with that, and we hope that the audience obviously felt like they were
Yeah,
involved.
when we were running close to them as well, we want them to be engaged with us, with our
Yeah.
performance.
Okay.
Okay, so what about the immersive bit? What went well during that?
Right, so the immersive bit,
I think the setup we had was actually quite effective.
it was really
with
effective.
using the lights as lanes. I think we could have had it a bit brighter towards the back, because people were saying they couldn't really see
Yeah.
our signs.
Also, I think that at the start, when the audience started to come in the room, we weren't set up quick enough.
Yeah.
So we needed to work on timing for
timing.
that, because we just weren't ready at all
But
for them
once
to
we
come
got
in.
there, once we managed to set up properly, people were really enjoying it and they were really getting involved, especially when we brought them towards the back where
Yeah.
you could see inside the pool. I think that was really interesting for them to see
Yeah.
and really impactful.
Yeah, I think we did make a few mistakes when Bean was giving out some information about the pool. So just on future references, make sure we backed up our research just for anyone who was speaking. So yeah, just make sure we've got the correct information and statistics.
And that the pool was not open in 1980.
1980.
Yeah, so that's just one of the mistakes that we made with giving out information, because if people really do want to know about the building, then we want to give them the right information. Yeah, so
I
Nerve's
was
got the
nervous.
best. Nerve's got the best of Bean,
Yes.
so that's what we need to work
ID
on.
was opening in 1910.
Hey.
There we go.
There we go.
The power of Google.
And what about the immersive part as a class? How do you think that went?
So I
I think we
think
worked as a group.
I think
really
it was
well.
nice that we all came together at the end, because
Yeah.
the fact that we chose to split off into sections, that worked, but to be together as one big group was nice, because then the audience got to see us all together and they knew that we were all apart and all at the same kind of work.
And I think we really used the building to our advantage with the room we were in and how
What
we...
room was you in?
So we were in the deep end, which
What was the choice? Why did you choose
So we
that?
did that because our monologues were basically based around the quotes that were written around the building that were based off people's actual emotions.
as well.
Yeah, and our theme for that was water, so sort of like swing race, and we were going to sort of be water in them lanes. And so we thought the deep end would be a really good room because you can make it go quite dark, and that would help with the blue fairy lights that we had, which really made it more impactful, I thought.
Also, another improvement that needed to be made that day was the headsets. So we didn't have the headsets play when the audience played it. They were playing the wrong track because we had to skip next. So we just needed to really work on that. Maybe we could have deleted the track or something beforehand, but we didn't think about the outcome of that. So that's what affected that really.
Okay, so let's talk about why you chose to split your group
Yeah.
into how many separate groups was there? Was there
So
three?
there's three separate groups
Okay,
altogether.
so what was the go ahead for that? What caused that?
Was
So-
it just when me and you split it?
Yeah,
So I just thought it's nothing to do like personally. It was just that everyone's got different abilities of working. Like some people might be good at doing physical work. Some people might be good in speaking. Maybe
Yeah.
they've got more confident in speaking. So I just thought personally myself,
and
I'm more better in physical and same as T.
And we did have, altogether, we originally start as a full group and we had loads of ideas, but
We just
they
kept
just-
on hitting brick walls, really.
yeah,
and
because
eventually
the
all
ideas
got
kept
too
clashing and
strong for us.
we just didn't, we found out that we didn't work well as a group, as a whole group, because all of our ideas were just clashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it was better off going to separate groups.
yeah, did you
'cause it
prefer
made
going
it-
as a
yeah,
solo?
I
Okay.
preferred it that way because it looked way better than just constantly clashing and getting all sorts of ideas and just getting a bit struggle, like it's not working or anything.
But I also
Yeah.
think it made our piece a lot stronger as well, splitting off into these separate groups, because it helped us show all of our bigger personalities and abilities, which was quite good.
Yeah.
It shows that we can create ideas of our own.
Okay. Right. That's evaluation done. I'm glad we've got the feedback.